Traveling carry-on only has historically been the best choice to save money and time when you fly. But things have changed. Let's start with the money reality, because checking a bag isn't automatically more expensive anymore. Basic economy fares on many airlines now include only a personal item instead of a full-size carry-on. United's basic economy doesn't allow overhead bags at all on domestic flights, which means you're limited to what fits under the seat. And if you show up with a rolling suitcase, you'll pay $65 to check it in before you board your flight. Air Canada's basic fares follow the same pattern where no carry-on is included in your ticket price, and you're stuck with just a personal item. If you want to bring a rolling carry-on suitcase, you're going to be paying extra. Meanwhile, many of these same airlines offer fare bundles or credit cards that include a free checked bag but still charge for cabin storage. There are also hidden carry-on costs that we often don't factor in when doing the math on whether a carry-on or check-in suitcase makes sense. Airlines are so sneaky about their fees. To actually keep your carry-on with you, you typically need to pay for early boarding just to get overhead bin space. Passengers seated in basic economy are always the last to board the plane, and often by the time they do board, there is no overhead bin space left for them. It's also important to keep in mind that your carry-on suitcase might end up damaged if it is checked in, since it wasn't built to be thrown around by baggage handlers. For couples traveling together, checking one shared bag is often cheaper than two separate carry-ons with individual fees. When you run the numbers, a planned checked bag plus a free personal item is often equal or cheaper than the carry-on gamble. The second reality is that flying with a carry-on adds stress and uncertainty. Flights are fuller than ever, and you'll hear announcements that bins are full before half the plane has even boarded. There's the roulette of wondering if they'll force you to check it in at the last second, which means you might need to reorganize at the gate so medications and a change of clothes don't disappear into a checked bag. There's also the mental load that eventually ends up taking a toll as you are standing in the boarding line, watching all of the boarding groups ahead of you, taking their carry-ons onto the plane, wondering if there's going to be any overhead bin space left for you. It's also common to see a horde of anxious travelers with carry-ons crowding the boarding gate early in an effort to board the plane as soon as possible to secure overhead bin space. Airlines call these travelers gate lice. What a flattering term. Thanks for that one. Then there's the bathroom problem, where dragging a roller into tiny airport bathrooms is awkward and uncomfortable. For connections, you're hoisting the bag in and out repeatedly on a long travel day, which gets exhausting fast. Let us know down in the video comments if you have experienced any of these stressors when you fly with a carry-on suitcase. I personally have, and it is not fun. Travel already has enough uncertainty, and I do not need the overhanging uncertainty and anxiety of whether or not my carry-on suitcase is going to make it on the plane. The third factor that nobody talks about is physical reality, because your body is part of this decision. Lifting a bag overhead at 60 or 70 isn't the same as at 25, and it's also not the same at 5'2" as it is at 6'2". I'm about 5'5", which is pretty average height for a woman in North America, so I'm not exactly vertically challenged, but I still struggle to get my carry-on suitcase over my head and into that overhead bin. Not to mention that if you have shoulder, neck, or back issues, overhead lifting can be risky. Flight attendants are not required to lift passengers' carry-on bags, and many airline policies and union contracts specifically instruct them not to do so because of the high risk of back and shoulder injuries. You can't always rely on other passengers to lift your bag for you, and if you're dreading every boarding process because you're scoping out who you can ask for help, that's a sign that carry-on might not be the right choice. Walking long distances through airports while dragging luggage gets harder as you age, or if you're managing mobility aids, CPAP machines, or traveling with someone who has limited mobility. Checking a bag can make the airport itself much more manageable because you're walking through security and to your gate with just a small personal item instead of wrestling with a heavy roller bag. This is also awesome when you have an international connecting flight and have to go through a second airport security check at some point on the trip. The fourth consideration is liquids, medications, and packing freedom, because the 3-1-1 rule makes life harder if you use specific skincare, sunscreen, or liquids. Traveling to cold climates or multi-climate trips means needing bulkier clothing that doesn't fit in a carry-on. If you travel with CPAP machines, medical equipment, orthopedic shoes, or compression gear, carry-on space gets eaten up fast. With a checked bag, you can pack full-size sunscreen, shampoo, and products you know work for your skin. You simply have more space with a checked suitcase. You can bring the clothing and shoes you actually need without being limited by the size of a small carry-on. Just remember, the only bag you will have access to during the flight is your personal item under the seat in front of you. Even if you get a carry-on into the overhead bin, it is not easy to access once you are in the air. That is why being intentional about what goes into your personal item is so important. Everything you may need during the flight should be in that bag at your feet. To make this simple, download my free packing list by scanning the QR code on the screen now, or use the link at the top of the description and pinned comment. It will help you decide exactly what to bring so you are not trying to think of everything on your own at the last minute. I've used this exact personal item packing list across hundreds of flights because it covers everything I could possibly need, and it is far less stressful than creating a brand new list every single time I travel. It's also much less of a hassle. The fifth point is about control. Because the worst situation isn't having a checked bag, it's actually being surprised by a forced gate check you didn't plan for. Absolutely hate it when that happens. Not fun. When you plan to check from the beginning, you can pack 1 or 2 full outfits and all essential medications in your personal item. You can use an AirTag or tracker from the start, take photos of your bag and tag, and know the process for reporting issues if something goes wrong. When you're forced to gate check your carry-on, you might have valuables, paperwork, or medications in the wrong place. You lose control and still have the stress you are trying to avoid. A planned checked bag with a smart personal item often gives you more control than rolling the dice on overhead bin space. And when something does go wrong, don't make it worse by connecting to airport Wi-Fi, at least not without first turning on today's video partner, NordVPN. Airport Wi-Fi is one of the easiest places for hackers to snoop on what you're doing online. Everyone is on the same open network. That means other people on that network can potentially see what sites you're visiting or try to steal your information. We're talking passwords, email logins, credit card numbers, even access to your banking apps if you're not protected, and the worst part is, you won't even know it's happening. When you turn on NordVPN, it creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet. That means even though you're on a public network, no one else on that network can see what you are doing online. NordVPN takes 2 seconds to activate and covers up to 10 devices at once, all for about the cost of a cup of coffee each month. I've been a customer for years, and I don't connect to Wi-Fi on any of my devices without turning it on first. Scan the QR code on the screen now, or go to nordvpn.com/Megan to get an exclusive discount and set it up before your next trip. That way, if something goes sideways, at least your data stays secure. Now, don't get me wrong, flying carry-on only still absolutely wins in certain situations, and I anticipate if the rules stay as they are right now and don't continue to change, they always seem to change, I will likely still be flying carry-on only for the majority of my flights this year. If you have tight connections where bags often miss transfers, carry-on is smarter. Routes or hubs with a known history of baggage issues are better with carry-on. Itineraries with multiple trains, ferries, and small guest houses with stairs are easier with just a carry-on. Trips where you're changing cities every 2 or 3 days and hauling luggage over cobblestones definitely favor carry-on. If you're physically able to manage the bag and you feel calmer keeping it with you, then carry-on is the right choice. Choose the option that works for your trip and that's going to give you the least amount of stress, not just the option that some random girl on the internet tells you is best. The bottom line is that travel keeps on evolving, and all of us as individual humans are evolving too. Evolving in this case is my way of saying aging. I just like evolving better because it kind of sounds like a Pokemon. But the point is that travel is changing and our own needs are going to change over time too. So carry-on may have worked well for you at one point and it may not be working well for you now. And that's totally okay. For many people, especially older travelers or anyone with medical or mobility needs, a planned checked bag is the calmer, safer, and sometimes cheaper choice. If you decide that checking a bag is the smarter choice for your next trip, I have a full video breaking down how to check a bag the smart way in 2026. I cover new self-service check-in options, common mistakes like not knowing the bag drop cutoff times, and how to save the most money possible when you check a suitcase. I'll put it on the screen now and link it in the description for you to watch next. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join Ollie and me back here for more travel tips and hacks each week, and we will see you in that next video soon. Bye.